Hi, welcome to Mindalia TV. Today we talk with Philippe Marcoux. It's a doctor of chiropractics, and we'll go speak about disease symptoms. Welcome to Mindalia TV.
Pleasure.
Welcome.
Yeah.
So, doctor, we talk about disease symptoms. You can talk about us with.
Like I will speak in 2 hours about three different type of disease where nobody knows about it, and when we understand the terminology of disease, it's dis-ease. It's a breakdown of the harmony of the ease. So when we have a breakdown of the ease, the harmony, automatically the body with the brain will adapt in 2 different ways. It will adapt by hyper actions or hypo actions. And they're gonna go with symptoms with hyper action symptoms and hypo motions symptoms. And most of the science, most of the ways of treating things will reduce the symptoms. But it's strictly symptoms. And at the end of the symptoms, you add a lot of symptoms together and you've got a name of a disease. Example, sciatica, asthma, bronchitis, cancer, Parkinson, multiple sclerosis and everything. But what is the real cause of the disease? And that's what I'm going to speak about that. Okay? We've got 3 levels of manifestation of disease. The first one, it's happening even before when we've been conceived by our mom and dad. It's the archetypes. It's the download of the emotions of our mom and dad, the way they live their life, and they're gonna transfer through the DNA, okay, information, and it's the meaning informations about their way of living, their way of seeing things. But doesn't mean it's going to be good or bad. It's a download of information like in a computer, and our brain is a computer. It just takes the download of informations. That's the first level of dis-ease. It's strictly virtual. It's strictly emotional. And the latest research in quantum physics and DNA, they just pinpoint that principle. The first level of dis-ease, it's from the genes, from the emotion print in the hard disk, if I can say. When the fetus is growing inside the uterus of the mother, he carries that load of informations. And when he prepares himself to be born, well, that's the beginning of a second level of interference. We call that subluxations. Interference with biomechanics of first bone in the neck, we call it the atlas, and second bone in the neck, we call it the axis. And those 2 bones are totally different than the rest of the spine because they have no disc, they are really mobile, and also they are related directly to the central nervous systems, medulla oblongata, just right there on the spine. So most of the human beings, they create their first physical locking there when they've been tracked by the doctors through live their lives. And after that, multiple accidents and everything. So when those subluxations start to appear, it creates a dis-ease, a breakdown of the ease, or if you want another way, reducing the quantity of vital energy go through the body. Kidney, lungs, left legs, right legs, arms, whatever it is. So if the body doesn't receive 100% energy, it's adapting less and it's going to react in relation with what's going to happen. So it's going to create symptoms again. So we've got 2 different types of interference or subluxation. The one with the download of the information of our parents when they conceive us, archetype. That's Carl Jung who find that. And the physical interference or subluxation atlas axis. Below that, C3, C4, the cervical, the dorsal, and the lumbars, and the sacrum, we call that fixations. It's a big difference. But anyway, we will not go into the difficult, it's complicated. And we've got a third one, where I identified during 17 years of research in neurosociology, behaviors of left-handed men and women, and right-handed men and women. Where you are at the right place at the right moment, your brain is in phase with what he is, he's healthy. But if he's not at the right place at the right moment in the space or in the bed or whatever it is, you're going to create a shifting in the brain, and we start to go in a process of overstress or distress. It means dis-ease again. So a lot of people, they sleep at the wrong place in their bedrooms, and they wake up in the morning, they're as fatigued as when they went to bed 8 hours before. How many patients, they go in the hospital and they don't sleep at a good place. That's why it's so long to recuperate. How many places in the meeting and in administration meeting, people are not at a good place, and so on and so on and so on. If I'm just shifting with you on the other side, automatically we change the relation. It's not the same dynamic. So the brain is reading the motion of everything in time. So when the brain is not at its good place, you feel the difference?
Yes,
okay?
You are tall.
Yeah, but more, not also tall, but also the relations, it's different. Okay. So automatically the brain will go in a state of dis-ease again. And nearly nobody knows about those 3 different causes of dis-ease. And that's what I'm going to share about that. And what to do to help to people to be outside of the disease, find the cause, archetypes. It's a strong works with speaking with the patients and reinformations of the download programs they receive from their parents. Subluxation of our atlas axis, that's my specialty since 33 years in Canada, now in Lisbon and in Portimao, where we replace the first or second bone with different technology, where we use thermographic reading before a correction. We adjust a specific adjustment. We call that a correction, an adjustment. A patient go to sleep for an hour in 1 hour our sleeping bed. And after that, we post-check. We want to see if the correction worked. And after that, we slowly work with the patients to improve his health. And for those who really want to go a higher level of correction about space motions, we call that profile. We profile a human being. Well, seminars have been done, or private meetings. Books have been written, and the second book is coming on the market in about a month on left-handed women and left-handed men. They don't make the same disease, they don't act the same ways, they don't eat the same food. And what is fantastic, and what I discover, is we've got 4 different left-handed women and 4 different left-handed men, and so on for the right-handed men and women. So it's a huge, huge, huge world of informations there for the public, there for women and men who try to find a solution for their dis-ease. Yes, drugs it's okay. It's not a problem. Surgery is perfect, but it doesn't necessarily correct the cause.
And it's possible the cure of the disease?
Dis-ease is strictly a breakdown of the harmony. If you take off the cause of the breakdown of harmony, the natural potential of the body of human being and animals is to heal by himself. When you cut yourself, it's your body's healing. It's not the pill.
That's true.
The pill may reduce the pain or the swelling, but it doesn't cure. It's the body by himself who's been built for that, controlled by the brain. So a human body can heal of nearly everything. We just have to give him the potential to regain his 100% potential of energy between brain, first and second bone in the neck, and the rest of the body. Give time. Sometimes, and a lot of time, needs supports around it, massage, acupuncture, or changing the food intake, or go and see a psychologue, and sometimes surgery. But if the energy is flowing 100%, they're going to have 100% potential to heal. Again, why people's got so much problem to heal? They are locked there. If they only have 40% of energy, they're going to heal at 40%. It's a question of electrical logic. And we've got technology now when we can know if the energy is flowing 100% or not. The rest is a question of logic, and it's simple. Simple.
And the archetypes we have for our mother and father,
grandparents and everything, works as can be done on that. We call that a TPA, the ways of working. We reinform the program, but it's a specific things based on quantum physics. Everything is waves. Everything is light. Everything is informations. If we can use a specific techniques to re-inform through waves and breath and everything and specific words, the brain will receive the information. It's going to download in the genetics, and it's going to create a breakdown of waves, and the brain's going to say, oh, something new where I've got more harmony. It's going to adjust it, because the brain has to find all the time a solution. All solutions are good to keep you alive.
And it's easy, the cure of this?
It's not the cure, it's easy. The body is not a problem with that. What's the problem is people, they have to go most of the time with a lot of suffering. Because pain, but pain doesn't mean it's negative. Pain is there to show to the brain, okay, we have got a process of healing. But we've been sadly educated that when it's pain, it's problem. And I all the time said to patients, it's not because you've got a pain in the knee, the problem is in the knee. And it's not because you've got a pain in the knee, okay, it's bad. If you have pain, thanks God. Okay, it showed that something happening with swelling and everything to re-inform and regenerate the cells. And we have to re-understand the meaning of pain and symptoms. But that's part of our job and informations and everything.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you talk about a little bit of your work and your practice with people?
My major works I'm doing right now, it's based on the 3 level I was talking. Okay, mainly I focus on upper cervicals, atlas axis. But when I feel a patient need a little extra, I share with the patients, you may need something where we have to go deeper on the program your parents download when you've been conceived. And if they allow me to go that, I propose another type of treatment combined with tomographic reading. Again, we check, pre-check and post-check all the time. That's science. And we reinform. And some patients want to go a lot more deeper. I had a client who came from Luxembourg. He wanted 2 things. Know his profile as a left-handed man, and also reinform about a specific pattern of behavior he had. When we've done the works, he just understood the why he had that pattern. He understood why he missed things in his job, because he was not at the right place, at the good place, and he was not acting the good way because of his profile. When he understood that, he changed his behavior. And he sent me email a few days after. He said, Doc, it's fantastic. Now I can be in relation with human being. Before he was not in relation, he was in confrontation with that. So I've got 3 different tools to work and walk and be with a human being. And a patient has to be patient sometimes. Give time. It's not a pill. A pill just gonna shut down the symptoms, but the body needs time to heal.
Why so difficult for us?
We are in a society where we don't want to feel the uncomfortable of healing, so we take pills, we anesthetize, shooting or smoke a marijuana or whatever it is, or take a 2 or 3 glasses of scotch or a bottle of champagne, and everything is okay. It's numb the pain, anesthetize the pain, but it's not healing. It's not because you have no more pain, you're healed. You still have the problem when the effect of the drugs just shut down, or the effect of the alcohol just shut down. You still have still the same damn problem. But when you correct the cause at 3 different levels, mainly what I'm doing in clinic in Lisbon, in Portimao, correcting at the upper cervicals, slowly we educate the patients. We start with documentations and conference and everything, that the pain you have, it's a good sign of healing. So it means the body is just to rebuild his process of protection he had for many years. What can you ask more? And when they understand that, they realize that they eat not a good food. So we propose things. You can shut down a little bit of 5 whiskey to 1, or cut on the sugar, take more different bread, go with other type of meat. Don't go necessarily on red meat, go on a white meat or vegetarian meat, things like that. We propose things. Start to do exercise. How many patients I've got, they do exercise not being done for them because their profile said you should not do that type of exercise. When they realize it, we modify the ways of doing exercise. What's happening with them? They improve. They see by themselves that the body is less painful, more mobile, more happiness, more joy. They've got better life with their husband or wife, or in the job, everything's going better. What can you ask more? Sure, it's not a pill. Sure, they have to pay because our system is free for everybody, but it's not because it's free, it's good. You understand?
Yes, yes.
You understand?
Yes.
But
Dr. Marcoux, thank you very much
pleasure to
to
have to share
give
that.
this interview. Thank you.
Pleasure.